Welcome to a nice rainy day in North Carolina. I just took delivery of my new Kioti tractor and thought I'd take this opportunity to go over some of the things that I like about it, why I chose to buy the Kioti over some other brands, what I'm going to be using it for, and just a couple of the features on it. Not a real in-depth review, just some generalizations. I take care of some property out here. It's mine. It's about 7 acres. It's primarily just a gun range. I also do a little bit of planting, farming, very minor amount of that here. We're going to get into a pumpkin patch. There'll be some videos of that later on this season, hopefully, if that goes well, since we know absolutely nothing about growing pumpkins, but we're going to learn as we go. Anyway, the tractor came out today. The guys just left dropping it off. It came from Reedy Creek Equipment here in Lexington, North Carolina. Great little dealer to do business with. Was real happy with them. Called around to some other dealers, and I didn't see any reason to drive further away or go with a bigger shop or anything. Those guys, everybody was just great to work with there. They're 10, maybe 15 minutes away from me. Real responsive, answered a whole bunch of questions for me, so just had a real good experience with Reedy Creek Equipment, and I wouldn't hesitate to do business with those guys again. First, a couple things that I did different to the tractor to set it up from its stock configuration. On the bucket, added a tooth bar. This is just an inexpensive one off Amazon. I think it's about 220 bucks. I needed a little bit of fitting to get over the welds in the bucket, not a whole lot, and the guys there at the shop did that for me. They put it on for me for free. Had a couple hooks welded onto the bucket. My last tractor had that, and I found them really convenient. So just a couple 5/16 weld-on hooks at the edges. So that's a little bit different. They don't come with that. The only other thing that I had done to it was had this hydraulic top link installed. Just for if you want to set the position of a box blade, something like that, it's just a little bit easier. You can do it from the seat, do it on the fly. For somebody like me, it's just a convenience feature. It's not necessary, but it was a real small upcharge. Those guys, they ordered it, took care of installing it for me. I think it added like a couple $100 to the price of the tractor, and very well worth it. I have to do something with the stock hook for the top link. Obviously, it's not big enough for this big fat cylinder, so I'll have to work around that a little bit. The industrial tires, they are filled. The rears are fluid filled. The dealer does that at no charge. That's a standard delivery service there at Reedy Creek. I'm not sure if every Kioti dealer in the country does this, but I know a lot of our local dealers in this area, they charge extra for that, and that's included in the sales price with this one. So I thought that was great, because that's something that I wanted for a little more stability, and I do a lot of loader work maintaining these berms. So any extra weight on the back of the tractor is great in my book. Now I just want to go over a few of the features, things that drew me to this model. I came from an LS, an XJ2025 hydrostat, a real small 25 horse tractor. It was a great machine. It did everything I asked of it. Every day I was impressed by what it was capable to do for a 1,600 pound tractor and only 25 horsepower, 18 horsepower PTO. I mean, it really impressed me for such a small machine what it could do. But what it couldn't do was move dirt. And that's something that I really need done. I need to move a whole bunch of dirt here, and it would do it just a very small bucket at a time, and it couldn't lift it very high. So I was working around that a lot. So that's what led me to a bigger tractor. I was initially looking at the Kubota L series, the smaller Kiotis, the CK3510, CK4010, Mahindra, whatever their 35 horsepower is. I forget the model number, 2538 or something like that. Those type machines I was looking at, but the limitations that I kept running into with just going up one frame size from what I had was the front end loader. It either didn't have the lift capacity or it didn't have the lift height. It was one or the other was always a limiting factor. And if the primary reason from upgrading from a machine that I liked just fine was to increase the loader capacity, I figured I may as well increase it enough to do what I really needed to do, even though that's a lot bigger machine than what I need for 99% of what I do. There's no reason I need a 45 horsepower machine to bush hog out here, to clear a little trail back here in the woods, something like that. I don't need a machine this big. just for moving the dirt. That's pretty much why I need this frame size, need a tractor this big. So anyway, I was looking around at a bunch of different brands. I'm definitely not brand loyal. I have, you know, nothing negative to say about any other brands. It was just after shopping, comparing, looking at how much tractor you get for your money with all these different brands, the Kioti is what fit for me the best. So now I'm just gonna spend a couple minutes and go over some of the things that come standard with this NX4510 hydrostat. Not every feature on it, because a lot of them, truthfully, I'll never ever use. But I'm going to go over the ones that appealed to me as just an operator and someone who's not a tractor expert. I didn't grow up as a farmer. I don't have thousands and thousands of hours of tractor seat time. So for just an average guy who knows just enough to get himself in trouble, these were the selling points to me. Then I'm just going to start here and just walk around the machine. So these aren't in any particular order. Quick attach bucket. My last tractor had that. I really like that. Just unlock the levers and come right out of it. That's great for me because I use pallet forks all the time. It takes, I don't know, not more than about 45 seconds to swap from your bucket to your pallet forks. So that's great. The specs on the loader itself, those are incredible. How much it can lift. It's around 2,900 pounds. Lift to full height. At the pins, it'll be a little bit less in the bucket. But it's got a half-yard bucket, and with that kind of lift capacity, that means I can take a full heap and scoop of moist North Carolina dirt, which is mostly red clay, and just lift it to full height and not worry about it. It's just going to do it. I can take one of those IBC totes out there with water, 275 gallons of water, and just lift it. I wasn't able to do that with my last tractor. It just didn't have the capacity for it. I was only able to put, I don't know, maybe 75, 80 gallons and leave most of that container empty. So that's good because I don't have running water out here. I have to transport water back and forth in totes. So that lift capacity is going to help me out a whole lot there. The next thing, which really appealed to me, was the fuel tank location. Right down here. If you've ever filled a tractor that had a fuel tank up here in the center of the hood and tried to do that out of a 5-gallon can, that's kind of an exercise in, you know, how well can you hold this weight out there extended and steady enough to not spill diesel all over the place and make a mess. So down there, that's real easy. Whether you're filling from a transfer tank at a gas station gas pump or even out of 5-gallon cans, it's right here. It's real easy to get to. And it has a nice strainer in it, long neck strainer, if you can see that. And the lid, it locks it clicks. So you don't have to worry about, is it too tight, is it too loose, is it going to vibrate off the machine, anything like that. So that's nice. As you come around the machine, the big selling point for me was this 3-point hitch area. Regardless of the hydraulic top link or not, even with the standard one, because that's what I looked at as I was shopping and comparing, this really stood out to me as exceptional compared to other tractors in this size, in this price range. And really, to get all the features back here, standard on the tractor, you've got to upgrade to a Grandel Kubota in a lot of cases, and that's a lot of money. They're nice machines, but it's a lot of money. So what you get back here, your stabilizers, you know, just have these pins. So once your attachment's on, you got it centered, you got it tightened up where you want it. You just pop your pin in, and you're done. You're not messing with turnbuckles, anything like that. Your 3-point lift arms, and I'm sorry if I can't do this well one-handed. And I can't. They extend out. So when you're trying to hook up something with pins like this bush hog has that are fixed, it's a lot easier to move your arms around, move your arms in and out, instead of fighting the attachment, trying to swivel and pivot it to get it to meet your arms. You can move your arms to it, and it makes hooking everything up just a whole lot simpler. The next small difference that I noticed was this PTO guard. It flips up way out of the way for you. A lot of them don't move at all or move about this much. And on a machine this size, it's not that big of a deal. On a smaller machine, I was always cussing my fixed one because if you have something large like a bush hog back here that's hooked up, it was real hard to get here right at the PTO spline. With something that simple that just flips up that much out of your way, it makes a huge difference in getting your hands in there and working, especially if you have a a PTO connection where the button's real hard to push or the collar's real hard to slide back, you can just get your hands in there and work a little bit better, and that makes a big difference. A lot of other tractors this size, this is where their fuel tank was, which is also a lot more convenient in my opinion than the top center of the hood. But once you have a big attachment on, something wide like a bush hog, then you're trying to get around it to get fuel into your machine. So I really, again, like the placement of the fuel tank on this Kioti. I think they did a good job on it. As we come around over here, to adjust for your adjustable arm on this Kioti, again, it's not a turnbuckle, and I really like how this is set up. All you have to do is flip this up out of your way, and you just turn the handle and you raise and lower, so you can adjust the level of your implement very easily, very quickly, and it's right here. It's real simple. Other nice little feature, this lever right here, this will raise and lower your 3-point arms from behind the machine. You're not on and off, back to front, trying to get your arms lined up, so it makes it even easier to get your implement hooked up. You just back in with your arms a little bit high, and then get them to where you want them from right here behind the machine. Of course, if the machine's running, you could raise and lower them, but I don't like to do a whole lot off the machine with it just sitting there idling. So you got your nice rubber mat comes with it. Your front work lights here, because you have your headlights here. This one's or a front marker light, I'm sorry. When you climb up on the machine, you can climb up from the left side like I just did, or you've got a step on the right side, and because you have a fender mounted joystick, there's not a whole lot in your way. You can mount and dismount from the right side too. A lot of tractors, it's really difficult to get on and off from the opposite side. Comes with a mirror, and that mirror just sits there in that pivot. So if you wanted to, you can move it to this side, whichever is more comfortable for you. Excuse me, the 3510 SE comes with 2. The NX only comes with 1. So you have to pick the side you want. The loader joystick, really simple. It's a nice ergonomic handle. It's got provisions for if you wanted a remote up front and you wanted a thumb or something, you could add that onto this handle easily. Got a lockout like most of them do. The dual pedal hydrostat pedals, I prefer those. I'm not going to say that dual pedals are better than Kubota's rocker pedal. It's what I'm used to, so to me they're better. A lot of people like that treadle pedal that Kubota has, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you prefer. I just happen to prefer this style, and that's what this machine came with. The key's located over here on the side, which is nice. My last one was right here, and I was continually bumping it with my knee, so I don't have that problem here. Basic switches and controls, they're all right here, easy to get at, easy to operate. Your headlights, turn signals, they're pretty much just like a car. So that's real easy. You got a tilt wheel, which I think is, yeah, this lever. Again, hard to do one-handed. Maybe I can do one-footed. So you can adjust to really make the tractor fit you. This rear remote, it's here. It comes standard on the tractor. I didn't have to pay extra for the rear remote. I just had to pay for the top link. So if you had something besides a hydraulic top link you wanted back there, you already have your handle here. It's already plumbed and it's ready to go. You got your draft control and your 3-point position control with standard just swivel nut stops. Electric PTO, you just push it and turn it on and then just bump it to turn it off. That's real nice. Then under here is all the electronics, all the features that this tractor has, and I'm not going to go over every one, like the linked pedals and the stall guard, PTO cruise, auto PTO, all this stuff that honestly I'm not going to use a whole lot of it. I'll use the linked pedals doing loader work. The rest of it I may or may not, but everything is just a button right here, real simple to reach from the operator's platform, no issue. This one though is something I will use and I like. You can adjust how your hydrostat responds to your foot movements. If you want to let off your hydrostat, if you're moving forward, if you want to let off the pedal and have this thing come to an abrupt stop, it'll do that. If you want it to kind of coast and come to a nice gradual stop, it'll do that. The same thing with starting out. However you have that adjusted, will be how quickly it takes off or how slowly it takes off. So you can tailor your ride and the operation of the tractor to suit your preferences. I like that. The seatbelt retractor. Believe it or not, that's a feature. Some machines do not do a good job of managing that seatbelt tail. And without it, like on my last one, it just hung. There was no retractor on it, so it was so much more convenient to just buckle it up out of the way rather than have it fish its way down through the fender. It almost encouraged you not to wear it. So with a good seatbelt setup, it encourages you to do the right thing and wear your seatbelt like you're supposed to. The seat, it's really thick and padded well. But in addition to that, it's got nice suspension to it. I'm not sure if you can tell because I'm bouncing the camera along with the seat, but it's got a lot of travel. It's just putting my knee on it, I've got about 5 or 6 inches of travel in this thing. And it's not just a hinge with some springs under it like a smaller machine or a cheaper suspension seat. It's an actual straight up and down suspension seat. So what does that mean? Well, you can see my land isn't the smoothest, nicest land out there. I got a lot of ruts, a lot of holes. So with these larger tires and a better suspension seat, I'm going to be able to travel over it a little bit faster and not beat myself to death. So I like that. You've got a cup holder over your fuse box, and then your range selector, your low, medium, and high, and there's neutral stops in between each one. This machine's nice too. It will not let you start if you're not in neutral. So having that extra neutral stop in between is kind of a nice feature. It's easy to hit one. And then of course your standard 3-point hitch speed up and down, and your rear differential lock. So by all means, that's not every feature of this tractor, and I definitely haven't gotten into any of the capabilities of it yet. There'll definitely be more videos as I get this thing muddy and start doing some work with it. It's just a little bit too wet and the ground's too soft. I don't want to just make ruts today, or that's what I would be doing. But I'll get some videos out here of this thing works so you can see as I get into it more things that I like about it or things that I dislike about it. Because like I said, I'm not a fanboy of any particular brand. Whatever works. I don't care who made it. I don't care how much you paid for it. If it works and does what you want it to, then it's a good machine. If it doesn't, then it's not a good machine. Regardless of what color the paint is, regardless of what brand name's on it, regardless of what kind of discounts or rebates or anything like that you got on it. It just doesn't matter. The machine's got to do what you want it to do, and it's got to do it when you want it done. Oh, here was another thing that I missed too that I just noticed that I really liked about this machine. I talked about the loader joystick being right there on the fender. I like that because I can get on and off from this side easily if I want to. But what I also liked was because of the way they did that versus having it mounted up here where the mirror is, or the way a couple of the other brands have done, is they've routed these hydraulic lines pretty well. They're up high. The loader frame is underneath of them. I'm not afraid to take this in the woods and think I'm going to snag one of these lines, tear one of these lines. They're routed really well. I've seen other brands, and I'm intentionally not mentioning the names of them because I'm not trying to talk down any other brand. But I've seen them where they came down here, made a full loop, and then went back, which was just begging to snag on something and just rip that whole line right out, which is probably one of the last things you'd want to happen if you're out in the middle of the woods on a trail somewhere. So that was something I noticed about this machine, was that they routed those hoses and they're protected pretty well. Otherwise, just sitting here, you probably saw in my shoddy camera work, this is the other stuff that I bought with the machine. It's all Bush Hog brand stuff. The light duty 6-foot rotary cutter Bush Hog, box blade, and the 6-foot tiller. I bought all those together with the tractor. Reedy Creek made me a great deal on it. I couldn't be more pleased with what I got for my money compared to a lot of other brands. I will say that I walked away from the deal feeling that I was treated very fairly, that I paid a fair price, but that I also got a very good deal myself. I got this with all the attachments and everything for a lot less than what I could have bought just a Grand L in the same size. So I think I did pretty well. We'll see. It's got a 6-year warranty on it. Hopefully I'll never have to use that. So time will tell if it was a good choice to go with the Kioti or not. Right now, initially, I feel it was. That's it for today, and hopefully I can get some more videos of this thing up in action for you real soon. Thanks for watching.